Hi, this is Bob James again from Daily Enduring Truth Ministries, and I am actually filming inside my home today. This is the office we've set up for my wife, and my original plan was to go out about 3 or 4 hours after the eye of the hurricane had passed and go out and show you some of the effects of the hurricane. The only problem is the hurricane slowed down, which, if you are from the coast at all, you know that's always a worrisome thing, because it means it's getting stronger. It went a bit farther south, but we'll still get some effects from the hurricane. But it's slowed down enough that the eye of the hurricane isn't expected to hit landfall until around 7 o'clock tonight instead of about 1 o'clock. So that 6 hour difference made it a little bit hard for me to do that. So I'm coming to you today from inside my house. You can't see any of the damage that we have around here. We don't have much right now. We have a few limbs down. Um, we haven't had a whole lot of rain yet, although I know we will. And we're just getting along fine. We've got things planned. I've heard of friends who have lost electricity, but we haven't. Speaking of electricity, um, today at the end of the video, I'm going to have a link to a video that's not my own. And while I don't normally do that, it's a friend who is working with a couple of his friends in developing very cheap energy uh, called biodigesters to be used in Uganda. And he's pretty much a hometown hero then, because he's from that area originally. And one of the problems for so much of the world is not having the energy they need for simple things like cooking, let alone the internet. So my friend JJ has been working on something. He's working with a couple of his friends, and I'll have a link to that. They're raising money right now, and I would appreciate if you go and look and see what they're doing, and if no, pray for them first, and then if God leads you to give, then go ahead and support them. Well, speaking of hometown heroes, Jesus was a hometown hero. Only when he came back to Nazareth, people looked at him and said, "Man, we knew you when you were a kid. Why should we listen to you now?" And so he taught there, and people pretty much blew him off because he was, well, we know him, we know his brothers, we know his sisters. What makes him so special? And it's interesting that they talk about him not being able to do many miracles there except heal a few sick people. Well, I don't know about you, but I sure would like to be the ability to heal a few people. I just look at them, touch them, pray for them, and boom, they're healed. So anyway, that's what was going on with Jesus. And then he sent his disciples out to spread the gospel. And they gave him he gave him a very interesting call in terms of go out, depend on the people you minister to, and then come back. And in the midst of that, we see another one of the Markan sandwiches, the story squeezed in between. And it's a longer story, but it's a story of how John the Baptist died. Because Herod originally thought that Jesus was John the Baptist come back to life. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked at it and thought about it this way, but do you realize Herod was saying it's possible for somebody to come back from the dead? Now, maybe he was thinking that Jesus was John's ghost. I don't know. But we look a little bit at John's story, and while we get the rest of the sandwich, it will be coming next week because we covered a lot already. I normally try to cover 20 verses at most, and we were already at verse 29. So we will cover the rest of the Markan sandwich, so to speak, next week. But it's an interesting story about John the Baptist. It's an interesting story about his, I'm not sure if it's his daughter or his stepdaughter, Herodias. Was his brother's wife, and Salome was his daughter slash stepdaughter. And she danced, and he was so drunk, he said, "I'll give you anything you want up to half the kingdom." And she couldn't figure out what she wanted, so she asked her mother, who was glad to see John the Baptist lose his head. So that's part of the story that we're looking at today. And it's interesting when we see that when God sends people out and they obey, amazing thing happens. When people don't have belief, and that disbelief is so bad that Jesus marvels at their disbelief, there's not a whole lot he can do. So work today in faith, recognize God's presence, and find ways to reach out and minister to other people in the name of Jesus Christ. You all have a great day. May God bless you. Have a great week, and stay safe through all the storms of life.